This here was me 3 years ago. Not that happy in my corporate job when I first took a picture there. And then 2 years after that point, the 2 years from taking this picture, I left that job, even though I started out with 77K, eventually got up to 150K salary, was just about to be promoted to 200K, like a lead equity analyst. And just before I got the promotion, I quit. And sure, a lot of people will say, oh shit, that's stupid. But here I am now, able to sit here in the middle of the work week while everyone else is grinding away, making videos in there just because I feel like it for fun. And you might be thinking right now, how could this buzz cut Chinese man with a six pack possibly tell you how in 2 years to get out of your job? Well, again, 3 years ago I did it. So for the last 1 year, I've been free. And right now you're in your good job with your crippling addiction to Netflix video games, anime, dirty videos, have your like 1 or 2 mad vacations per year, which all just leaves you with a lack of energy, which is the one thing that you need in order to put in the work to actually escape your situation in the first place. And these are all things that I've solved, and not with the stupid online guru shit that they always tell you, which are usually one of two options, which is to just go on and quit your job, follow your passion, don't worry about profit. You'll get there eventually. That's delusional. Or they just tell you some bullshit, get rich quick, buy my $99 course, and you're guaranteed to make $1 million in 5 days. All these shortcut stuff that everyone is trying to sell you, it doesn't work. All those random productivity hacks, they don't work because they're just overcomplicated. So of course that's not going to happen overnight, but 2 to 3 years is 100% possible, maybe up to 5 years. And again, I know because 3 years ago, this was me. And the process was a lot more simple than I thought, although it's a lot more brutal than a lot of gurus will tell you, because probably they're telling you how super simple it is, how super easy that their specific business model, their specific tactic is, so they can sell you some course to kind of bait you in, and then it doesn't work. And they're like, oh shit, you actually need my premium diamond tier so that you can finally get the results you're looking for. And then they upsell you to like a $1,000 course or some shit like that. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm just going to tell you in this video my simple thought process, so you can, instead of trying to fuck around with their things, you can think for yourself, plan out your own path, and then figure out your own actual way to freedom and what that actually looks like. Although this is only doable if you're a specific type of person. If you're looking for that 2-week method in order to make $1 million, the secret business model, this is not for you. If you're looking for the productivity hack that's going to make you work 25 hours per week, no burnout, 100% energy, never get demotivated, zero discipline needed, this is not for you. If you're looking for the perfect Notion template that you can just download to plan out your entire life and be brain dead and know exactly what to do and make $1 million step by step, this is not for you, because that's not going to happen. Those things are not real. Again, all of it is a lie to keep you in the cycle of buying more shit, just like dating apps. So if that all makes sense to you, you genuinely don't want that guru shit, maybe you tried it already, and you don't want to be a wannabe anymore, like your coworkers who are always telling you how they're going to start a business, but they never do shit. If you want to be the one who actually starts doing something, then listen up, because I'm about to tell you my 2-year step-by-step plan. There's 4 different steps, pretty much like 4 different bigger steps that you just need to take. And once you complete them, you'll be in my situation, which is, doing whatever the fuck you want. So I broke the different steps down into a timeline like you see right here. And the first step, and also day 1, what you want to start right away, either like as soon as you start a job or as soon as you watch this video, if you're still in a job right now, which is to weaponize your 9 to 5. The basic core principle here is your job isn't a prison. It is a resource to be plundered. So think about if you're a raider, you're a conqueror, you're going into the job to take what you want. And basically, for example, I was able to get promoted within 1.5 years when the normal people on my team who joined before me, they didn't get to promoted to my level until 3 years later. So I joined after them over a year, and I still got promoted before them. And I also 2x my salary, 2x or my earnings in the job. And that's because instead of thinking about the job in terms of like, oh, I just gotta work the job and make money, and then they tell me to do things and I just do it and kind of do my time, that's not what it's about. Think about what you're there for. Again, you are there for the money, right? But then you have a longer term goal, which is freedom and either doing a career that you enjoy more or building a business, something like that. So the goal is to get the maximum results in the minimum amount of time. That is always the goal. You got to think about the 2 things you need. Again, the short-term survival is the money. The long-term freedom requires the skills. So instead of just doing your time in your job, instead you look for the skills that you can get while you're in the job. Use the company to pay you to learn skills, which will allow you to leave the company. That's exactly what I did. So like literally, a lot of people are going to say I'm stupid for this, but sometimes I worked on the weekends because I would say like learning a specific type of skill, like, oh, how do you do this thing in Excel? How do you do this kind of data analysis with SQL? Or how do you speak in a certain way? Like I literally started this YouTube channel to learn how to speak so I can speak to my clients better to then get promoted because that's one of the things. And well, I learned these skills that I'm using right now, which allowed me to leave. And again, in my free time, I learned more skills, which allows me to get promoted, to get more money, to leave faster. So while it may seem backwards to work more, it is not, because if you work more and you get better, it both helps you because you're leveling up, but it also helps the company. But in turn, by helping the company, it helps you. Like I guess if you're at a really shitty company, it's not going to be great, but you can just try to get another job as well. So again, you can extract those skills. You extract the high value contacts if possible. Like some people that I did work with, they're very high up, managing directors. Honestly, if I start a company later on, like a more traditional company, let's say I started like an HVAC company, or I started like a investment fund, I'm sure they would try to help me out. And also like that 150K salary by leveling up your skills and helping company, or just however much salary that you have in your area, in your field, that increase is going to help you a lot. So in terms of application, exactly what you can do. So you have to think about, what skills can you steal that align to your future mission? And you might be thinking like, okay, well, in my job, I'm just working a miserable job. There's no way I can get any skills. Well, even if you're working like McDonald's, for example, like you're literally a McDonald's cashier. If you want to learn sales, if your freedom is some type of business, that's your idea of freedom, that you want to build a specific type of business, sales is probably a skill that you need. Well, while you're sitting there at the cashier and somebody's like ordering burgers, you just upsell them. You learn your sales skills to try to like upsell them on a soda. Like, oh yeah, oh, that McChicken's really nice. I think it'd go really well with a soda. Would you like to add that onto your order? And anything like that. There's always a way to find skills if you're really looking for it. And then finally, the second thing is, who in your company can be a strategic asset later? Like again, in the McDonald's example, even if you think nobody is valuable, like your general manager or like the McDonald's owner, if it's a franchise location, maybe you might want to start another franchise location, another McDonald's. Maybe you want to start something different, because I did research into franchise a while back. Like chicken has been trending up pretty hard. Maybe you want to start a Popeyes or a Chick-fil-A. Well, that franchise guy, he'd 100% help you out. Like I've talked to a bunch of these type of guys before, just separately, because I was diligencing it. But again, people are a lot more receptive to helping you out than you may think. Again, you'd start that all on day one, but now going to step two, which is something that you have to do within the first 1 to 3 months. And this is about building your actual escape fund. Like, how do you actually build an escape fund? Sure, if you make the 150K salary, 100K salary, or whatever salary, you still need to actually build that escape fund in a sense. Like you have to get I'd say at least 100K before you can really go off and do your own, because that 100K is what is going to buy you risk. Remember that, buy you risk. That'll be important a bit. So the first thing I want to talk about is the spending matrix. So how do you specifically spend your money in order to build this escape fund the most? And this is something that you want to just, I'd say first 1 to 3 months, because you want to really focus on getting really good at a job first, and then you can start to like branch out into this building your escape fund. So spending matrix. We have two axes. It is save versus earn. And we have let's say down here is liability and up here is asset. In this section right here, where you're spending your savings and you're buying a liability, like for example, like a car that you don't really need, like a very expensive car, or just luxury clothing, like you want to buy a Gucci belt or a Rolex or something. These are all just straight up debt. They're going to weigh you down. They're literally going to add a ball and chain onto your ankle, which will make it so you're perpetually stuck in your job. It's going to make your escape fund dwindle. So this is something that you totally want to avoid and never do. Never spend down your savings to buy liabilities. It makes absolutely no sense. And especially don't take out a loan to buy liabilities. It also makes sense. Or really don't take out loans to buy stupid things ever in anything. And the second option is you use your savings to buy an asset. So this is probably something you'd think as a more traditional investment. This is like buying stocks with your savings. So these things have the ability to appreciate, so make you a return, or just basically allows your money to sit there and not like get fucked by inflation, because that's something you don't want. So these things are okay to have. But again, the only thing that you have to be careful here is that don't try to like win it big here. This is not what's gonna make you win it big and finally escape. I've done this before again, and I've lost like 60, 70, 80K just on this alone, because I tried to, instead of preserving my wealth, try to win it big when I didn't have the skills to actually trade, which means, well, I just got fucked on the stock market by the hedge fund dudes, okay? It's a little different now. I actually have the skills, but that's another point. So be careful with the investments, but it is good for just preserving the escape fund. Second thing, or third thing, is spending your earnings. So different from your savings is you go and find a separate income stream. So let's say you drive Uber on the side, or you just like, I don't know, cut your grandma's lawn for an extra $20. And then you take that $20 that you earned on the side, or however many bucks, and then you go and buy something. So spending your earnings to buy something that you want. So a liability. This is kind of okay because it's separate from your main earnings. That is what is actually going to build your escape fund. So it's sort of like a net neutral. You can also kind of use this and just say, sometimes sparingly if you have some time and you really, really want something. But the last one is the best, which is assets and earnings. So you earn, so you make additional money, and then you buy things that make you additional money. So this is like a skill. And of course, the most common one that most people try to make money off of is like college. Like you spend how many thousands of dollars, $40,000, $60,000, $80,000 for a education that eventually pays out by getting you like some sort of job. But there's other ways to get skills, right? You can like purchase a book, which is good. You can obviously purchase a course. Of course, just do your research, because a lot of the courses out there, basically the industry is very inflated. So only buy what's really good. Or you can literally just buy time with different people, which is sort of like the mentor situation. Or for free, join some sort of community, or go into a paid community, which has people that all are knowledgeable about a certain topic, or actually try to learn about it, which then gets you learning. Or you pay for a specific tool or software that you need in order to learn a skill. Like, let's say you want to be an editor, well, you buy some editing software. So that would be something that is an asset that which eventually will allow you to earn some more. But you used your earnings to buy it in the first place, which is kind of creating that sort of cash flow cycle, which is the best thing that you could possibly spend your money. So this is the spending matrix, which is basically to spend on things that make you more money, very, very simply. But the second rule is like, if you genuinely want to spend on things that you want, the 10% rule. Keep this in mind. Save 90% of what you earn from your job, because this is what's genuinely being your escape fund. And if you ever have to do this, spend down your savings on investments or whatever, try not to risk more than 10%. Like if it's an investment, I'll get into this a little bit later, specifically some general principles you can follow with investing that work for me, but don't risk your entire portfolio in one trade. It's not going to work. And if you want to buy something that you want, just earn it first. Or if you really have to spend your savings down, which is sort of okay, then don't spend more than 10%. Like try to keep your living expenses less than 10% of what you earn. And there's ways to do this, which I'll get into right now. And of course, skills. I personally don't have a cap on this, but be reasonable. Like don't always just blow all your money, because maybe that's not very intelligent if you're spending that much and not earning yet. So how to actually keep this 10% rule? There's 3 different levels to do it. And of course, this is all about survival. So you only really need three things: food, shelter, and money to get you whatever else, right? And I guess water is included, but whatever. For shelter, well, you have the basement hack. This is the number one. Some people, it's not available to them, but live in your mom's basement again, or live with your parents. Like you obviously hopefully had a room and didn't have to actually live in the basement, but go back to your room. There's nothing wrong with that. Personally, I don't think so. You could probably get a very cheap rent if your parents are like that, or just live for free if you're like me. And obviously that's zero expenses right there. Or if you don't have that option at all, a great alternative is geo arbitrage. Literally go somewhere that is cheap as fuck. Like you can live in Wyoming. Alex Becker says this a lot, if you know who Alex Becker is. Or you can move to another country. That one's a little bit iffy, but it is an option that is way cheaper. And the last option, which you can actually bundle together with geo arbitrage, which is to shack up and save. So Alex Becker also says this a lot. You can literally go to some college town, shack up with like 10 different dudes in college, and you all pay like $100 in rent. That's super cheap compared to like living in the city. I know people who spend $2,000, $3,000 a month. Think about it. Why would you spend that much money on a place that you're basically just sleeping at? Most of your time is spent at your job anyways. Or maybe remote, it's different. But next part is food. So you have something called the company dime hack. Personally, I literally did not spend a single dime on eating at all. I ate dinner, I ate lunch. Every single thing that I ate was on the company because I got a job that I was able to just expense all my food. Which, if that's an option for you, try to do it. Like, for example, if you only had enough expenses to do one meal a day, well, just switch to only eating dinner, for example, and get something that is fairly cheap. Personally, I recommend protein, like something that gets you a pound of protein. Those like bowl places are pretty good deal in my opinion. But if you're not eating out and you have to or if you just have to spend your own money, the simplicity of cooking whole foods. For example, you can literally buy ground beef for $225 a month. Let's say ground beef is about $5 a month. You eat about 1.5 pounds per day for 30 days. That's about $225 per month. So 1.5 pounds a day is maybe like $7, 7 something. Versus if you just eat out once, it could be like $50. So for the amount that you're spending in 4 days, you could feed yourself for an entire month if you just got some whole foods and cooked it. And ground beef, that's pretty nutritious. 1.5 pounds of meat, that's like 150 grams of protein. And it might be a little light in calories, to be honest, but it'll make you survive. Literally in college, I ate straight up fried rice, chicken breast, eggs, and Greek yogurt. And I spent only $60 a month, no joke. Again, that was a little bit before the COVID and the inflation and shit. But if I could do $60 a month then, you can do $200 a month now. And the last part to the financial survival is money. So protecting your savings, again, just try to get into your mind not to spend. Like ingrain this 10% rule and remember the matrix as much as possible. And now to the 3 laws of not losing your shirt. I spent $87,583 to learn this lesson. And I'm going to give it to you for free right now in 3 different rules. And this is particularly pertaining to this investment part right here. First principle is to know that a small profit is indefinitely better than any loss. Think about it. If you had a trade right now, which is $100 profitable, and you're like, oh shit, this stock could go up and I could make like an extra $200. But usually that blinds you to the fact that, yeah, it's up right now and it could go down to this level, which will make you a $50 loss. And that $50 loss is way harder to make back with your smaller amount of money than it is to just take the gain right now, which now, if you go into the second rule, is weigh every trade against a future opportunity. Say if you took that profit, well, you have additional money to make additional trades that could make additional money from additional opportunities. This is like the anti-FOMO framework. So don't think about like, oh, will I miss the opportunity right now? Could I miss the potential gains of my current gain right now? Don't think about that. Think about like, okay, I have this trade right now. It could be profitable, but what could I do with that money later on if I sold it? There could be way better opportunities out there. There's specific tactics out there. You can trade however you want. I'm not going to talk about that right now, but just like, I don't know, look at the chart, look at the news, however you like to trade or invest your money. And the third principle that I personally use is to buy when I feel fear or when I realize the stock is cheap as fuck. I never buy when I feel greed. When I feel like I'm missing the boat, when I see a fuck ton of green, when I see those big green candles, I don't fucking touch it. This is not when I buy. That's when I'm looking to start like legging out. And when I see those big ass red candles, that's when I start legging in. Of course, like check the news and whatever. Don't fuck yourself over like that. Like use your own judgment. But those are the principles to investing. And with all those rules, you can have your escape fund pretty well set. But again, you can't just spend your escape fund down, right? You actually have to have something that eventually generates income, which allows you to actually have the real freedom, not just like, oh yeah, I bought myself 5 years. And you be like those people on YouTube, I don't know if you've seen, like, oh yeah, I quit my job. I'm living my best life, but then, I probably going to run out of money at some point, but I'm just not going to think about it right now. You don't want to do that, okay? So that's where this next step comes in. It's just step 3, which you start doing just about at the 1 year mark, and then you continue on with this all the way until you actually, once you actually escape. So once you actually make your exit. So the first part is the myth of the perfect business. Again, the perfect business doesn't exist. There is no perfect business model. Every business model you see out there that some 12-year-old is making $1 million out there, it works. It can work, but you probably don't want to do it. And you're probably not able to do it because you're not really interested in it. That 12-year-old was able to do it. Maybe he has some insane discipline. Maybe he got lucky. Maybe he's actually interested in it, which is probably what actually made him successful. If you're not interested in it, don't do it because you're not going to be able to stick with it a long time. If you're not going to be able to stick with it a long time, then you're not going to be able to make any success. So the only thing that really matters is your preference. If you are interested in learning about it, increasing this thing right here that I talked about in the spending matrix, skills, then that is the business model for you. Pretty much all business models work, again, at least in smaller scales. If you want to scale it to like billions of dollars, okay, sure, it's not going to work. But that's not what you want. You just want freedom. So you have to find something that works for you at the very least and realize that you can just move to the next thing later on once you're successful at one thing. You don't have to stick to the same thing for your entire life. So now that you know this, how do you find the thing that you actually prefer to do? This is what I call the exploration phase. And again, you start this at 1 year just because after the year, you're pretty fucking good at your job. So you can start to branch out into things that take a little bit of time. So you go down some YouTube rabbit holes. Personally, I think really good is you read Robert Greene's book, Mastery, or just watch there's a Huberman video with Robert Greene and also Andrew Huberman. They talk about a podcast of basically how to find your interests. It'll at least spark some ideas within your mind, which then you can just take those ideas and try it. Like there's no better way to do it than just try it. And again, I literally wrote here, I guess, try everything. Like try the trading if you're interested in even a little bit. Try the crypto, try the design, try making videos, try whatever you could possibly think of. And another good way is if you just ask AI, like, oh, here are my general interests. Here's what I'm good at. Here's my hobbies. Here's what I do in my job right now. Can you give me some ideas in order, like give me a big bulleted list of ideas to try, which would allow me to get skills to either start my own career or start my own business, whatever your end goal is, or however you define your freedom as. And within the trying, so within the exploration trade, once you transition to the trying of these different ideas, this is your sort of litmus tests. One, again, you explore, but only explore things that make profit. If you know that it can make profit, then that is what you call a real idea. Anything else that doesn't make profit is just a hobby. Again, like if you like ping pong, you could be a ping pong coach, you could be a ping pong teacher, you could be like selling a ping pong course. It has to make profit, but it could be any topic. And again, you just filter down to pick one thing. You can have AI help you with this. You could just use your own judgment. Then you finally do the test. I recommend 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a good amount of time to get a sense for it. You at least know that you don't fucking enjoy it. Like, for example, I tried coding a long, long time ago and I fucking hated it right away. So do the test. If you don't like it, stop it. The final part is just to decide you're either going to keep it if you enjoy doing it and you know this is going to make you profit eventually, but if you stick with it, or you kill it and test the next thing. Very simple. And the inevitable result that you will get is a mission where the work inherently makes profit because you filtered for it in the beginning. You only looked at ideas that you know make profit and that you enjoy it because you gave it that 2-week try. So you have the profit plus passion, and then now that just equals a matter of time. And of course, as you're doing it, so the 2 weeks after, or the many years after you're doing this thing to actually make it successful, you just want to do it in a manner that doesn't fuck your health over. So you can, again, keep doing it. You can't do it if you're fucked up, right? And now for the something, especially if you're having problems finding your mission or have any problems that are keeping you stuck, thinking for years, guessing in the dark, then toppling the restriction, literally just take it, which is basically a diagnostic to tell me your problems. I will email you back with something to help you on that specific problem that you have. Or else, I don't know, you can just continue this video and then you can just keep thinking on your own if you are not interested in that. But either way, we can go into step 4, which is the 3 to 5 year mark, which is the exit. How to actually finally make the exit from whatever position that you're in. So the core rule here is that your ambition is a secret. Tell no one of your real goals. If you tell people of your real goals, one of two things are going to happen, right? Because these people are not people that get it. These people are not people that are on the same mission. They're going to hype you up, which is just going to make it so like, oh yeah, you feel good about yourself. And then you eventually, you're like, oh yeah, maybe that's not realistic. And then you don't do it because you kind of got that dopamine hit from their hype. Or they're just gonna feed some like toxic shit, like, oh yeah, that's dangerous, or something along those lines, which again is going to prevent you from doing it. So just tell no one. They don't need to know. And to be honest, if they do know, some people will literally sabotage you on purpose because they're like, oh yeah, fuck you, who are you to get free while I'm miserable here in my job? 99% of people will poison your mind. Don't take escape advice from people that are prisoners. If you really do want to tell somebody, find a place where people actually get it. People that are actually on the same mission, find a mentor maybe who has actually already done it as well. And for real, like if I want to give you an example for how I actually took my exit, I literally told no one. I had coworkers who talk about quitting every single day. I didn't tell them what I was actually going to do. Like maybe they knew that I was going to quit eventually. I didn't tell my manager. I didn't tell my boss. And personally, I did quit. One of the main reasons I quit is because some family reasons. But regardless of that, I pretty much pre-planned already within my mind the day I joined that I was going to quit at some point within 5 years. So just give them a generic reason. Personally, I literally told them that, oh yeah, family reasons. And I didn't tell them anything about what I was going to do in the future. And that's honestly for a couple of reasons. Like if you don't tell them and you leave on good terms, you have the ability to actually go back if you like monumentally fuck up whatever you're doing, which is obviously a good option. Like don't just like, fuck everybody over. It's not a good thing to do. Just in general as a decent person. But anyways, here are the 3 rules of a clean break. You want to secure your assets. So like catalog all your contacts. I cataloged like my boss, the people that I work with that are potentially going to invest me, like those managing directors that I mentioned, anyone who matters. Then 2 is maintain your secrecy. So give the vague, boring, reasonable excuse for leaving. So if you really have nothing, literally just like, oh yeah, for personal reasons, I can't work here anymore, but it's really enjoyable. Like I might come back once I solve these problems, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really matter. To be honest, they probably don't care anyways. If you're a really good employee, they'll gladly take you back because I mean, it's a win-win for both of you, right? And then 3 is commit to the burn. Plan to never look back. Plan to never look back. Although you have the safety there, you plan to never look back. You plan for the success because obviously, again, you're going for the freedom, right? You never do want to go back. So actually commit to your actions that you say you're going to commit to. And that's pretty much the final piece to the trapped Wagie exit plan that you can execute within 2 to 5 years if you just follow these different steps and follow the different principles, keep them in mind. And it's honestly super simple, right? Except more brutal than a lot of people want to tell you about. Although the next thing that might be very helpful for you if you have trouble actually putting in the work once you have your free time is the system that I used, that I refined over literally making over 2,921 to-do lists, like, the things that I write the tasks down that is required to get my freedom. If you want that system that doesn't use some stupid habit trackers, no bullet journals, anything like that, watch this video next. I'll give you that exact system that you can use. That's super simple, which can get you using your free time in a productive manner. So click it if you want that.